Hello and welcome back to another character creation video. My name's Lumen and today we're having a look at Steelrising. This is the new game from the Greedfall devs, Spiders. And in this game you play as Aegis, or Aegis, an automaton. This is your character. She's always going to look sort of like this, even if you customize it and make it sort of as different as you can from this start-in position. It's still going to sort of look like this, and there are scant few occasions where I think that that's okay and acceptable and cool, and this is one of those occasions. This is one of those games where I feel like because they tell in a story that involves this specific character and you are playing as this character, you're not making your own character and inserting yourself into the story. No, you are here to observe the story and obviously partake in the story of Aegis. Because of that, they don't allow you to sort of mix it up too much, and I think it's cool. And let me just say, from the bit that I've played, I think my highlight of the game thus far is the character design. I love everything about it. I love the way she moves. I love the way the voice actually suits the body perfectly. It sounds like a real automaton's voice. It's the kind of thing that you'd expect. I love how all the different weapons just come out of different parts of the character's body. I like how the little bits and pieces just sort of like whiz and whirl around the whole time. It's great. And okay, I don't want to gush on about the character design too much. Let's get started. We're going to check the materials out, the wig, the face, and then after that we'll move on to the class selection and the statistics and all the other stuff. As always, you can find timestamps below. That's the deal. Materials. You get to pick the material of your character's body. It is a pretty impactful change. And I think if you show it from the back here, you get a better look at what you're actually doing. The first one is sort of the standard mannequin texture, I guess you could call it. And then they give you one that looks a bit like wood over here, this brown one. It's very nice. Some of them allow you to see the carvings a little better, others a little less. And then this one, I imagine, is sort of like a leather. Then we have a gold, which, by the way, wow. Those reflections are just fantastic. The texture on it just looks amazing. Then we have a silvery color. Once again, looks amazing. Ivory, I take it. Probably the best one to show off the carvings on here. And finally, a bronze. The bronze one actually changes the inner workings as well. If you like compare it to the gold one doesn't change that. The bronze one does. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. I mean, personally, I think I chose the ivory one. I like how it sort of accents the carvings on here. Then, the hair, the wigs. You can see that you are inserting yourself into a very specific time frame here with the style of wigs that the characters are using. And it's fine. It once again suits pretty much everything that's going on here. That lady that's blurred out in the background over there, she has a similar style of hair. So, yeah, you will feel right at home with one of these wigs on. Some of them look pretty good. Others, less so. And with all of these, I'm getting the feeling that we are creating Charlize Theron as an automaton. I don't know why, but it feels like that face is sort of based off of hers. Or it just shares similarities. I don't know. Maybe it's just me that sees that. Yeah, there are some nice hairstyles here. I personally like this one. I like the little braid as well. I think it looks kind of nice. The braid coming around the side here. Yeah, they're nice. They're nice. Then you get to choose your face. The face is, I would say, probably the most impactful choice. There are a lot of very close-up shots in the game of your character's face. When she talks, when she sort of, considers things, when something epic is happening. They show your face a lot. Close-ups all the time. So this is a pretty important choice. Pick something that you're comfortable with. Pick something that you don't mind looking at. And the choices, well, they do vary. This is the most plain one of the lot. Then you'll see that as you change them, this one has a slightly bigger jaw. The lips are slightly larger. There is definitely a whole lot more makeup on. Then there are darker skin tones. I think that these two share face shape mostly. The lips are a bit bigger on the darker one here. And then these two are sort of similar. But yeah, I mean, there are some decent choices. And then you got these ones down here that are far more, let's just say, painted. They're more done up. It looks like they got makeup on. Some interesting lines. Nice contrast with the reds and the whites here. I kind of dig it. And you'll also see that on some of them, these lines on the sides, they just look more impactful, because like if you've got a lighter skin and then you've got these darker lines here, they sort of stand out more when you have the makeup on. And then your final one here, this is the only one with an actual beauty spot there. I always find myself being fascinated by that. Someone created this character, someone made this automaton, an inventor of some sort, and they decided that that little beauty spot right there would complete their design. So they just popped it on there. I like it. So yeah, you pick whatever you like, but once again, as I mentioned, you're going to see a lot of close-ups of your character, so it's a pretty important choice. I'll take this one for now, and then we're going to move on to the class selection. Now, this is a Souls-like game. Your class selection, it'll only really affect the first little bit of your gameplay. So what ends up happening is, with these, you get bodyguard, soldier, dancer, and alchemist. You get a different weapon with each, and you start with a different grenade. But let me just tell you, it is a super temporary choice. When you get to the first equivalent of a bonfire in this game, you can actually already then buy any of these other weapons. So don't think you're locking yourself into anything. The most impactful part of these choices will be the stats that you get. We're going to go through them now. I'm just giving you quickly the rundown of how it works. And the grenades that you get, they are not reusable grenades. They're sort of once-off uses. You get like 3. You get a stack of 3 with this. You get a stack of 3 with that, and so on and so forth. Once you've used them, you just get some more, you know, and you can get the other ones as well. It doesn't really matter. So your choice here will basically just be you choosing your starter weapon and you choosing which stats you'd prefer to start with. It's an important choice, but within an hour or two's playing, you will completely nullify any effect it had if you want. Or you can completely change the direction in which you're going if you want. So, first up, the bodyguard. He has the body of work weapon, which special move is block. It's like a big mace, basically. Starts the petrification grenade that can temporarily immobilize an enemy. And then the description of the class is bodyguards rely on their strength to withstand hits and deal heavy physical damage to enemies. They get extra durability and engineering. And you can actually look at the details right here. That shows you all the stats. It shows you that they get durability, engineering, their health is up. The durability is the reason for the health being up, and the engineering, I think, is the reason for the loot multiplier. That's because you fight automatons, and if your engineering's higher, you can spot the loot easier. So that kind of makes sense. Then you get affliction multiplier over here, also from engineering. Balance and armor will be from your durability. So basically each stat sort of does something or affects these in some way. That's the bodyguard. It's a tank. The soldier is the DPS, straight DPS. It's basically got power and vigor. Soldiers are strong fighters that can wield heavy weapons to perform powerful physical attacks. That will give you the halberd. It's a special weapon with a ranged attack, and it gets the explosive grenade that can knock over an enemy. They get extra power and vigor, as I mentioned, and that gives you endurance from the vigor and damage from the power, along with impact, which is how much sort of stagger potential your attacks have, and your critical hit. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's a decent choice. This is a good starting point because you need these. You need these stats. Then after that, we have the dancer. Dancer has armored fans as their weapon. They are highly resilient and can chain attacks together in quick succession to immobilize enemies and inflict critical hits. They have the armored fans, as I mentioned, and then they also have the flame grenade. The armored fans have a shield special move as well. It sort of fans the fan out and blocks with it. And it's pretty cool. The agility and the vigor, they give you basically immobilization, which means you can stagger enemies. Not sort of knock them back, but stagger them completely. It's like you break their resolve bar. Was it called resolve? I can't remember what it was called in Sekiro, but they have that bar. And it's the same as that, where if you fill the bar up, then you can perform a critical hit on them. That's basically how it works. So agility and vigor, the agility gives you the immobilization and the critical hit. The vigor gives you extra endurance for more attacks. Makes sense. Then finally you have the alchemist, which I feel has probably the most interesting weapons. They have glass core batons. Light weapons, the special move that infuses them with frost, and then when you attack, your attacks sort of freeze the enemies after a few attacks. It applies frost to them. They get a resistance vial that can neutralize enemy alchemical attacks. Again, these things are very temporary. You can buy them at the shop very, very soon after you start the game. Alchemists favor alchemical weapons that can ignite, freeze, or electrocute their enemies and cause persistent elemental afflictions. They get elemental alchemy and engineering. And as you can see over here, those stats are over there. It gives them extra loot multipliers, extra affliction multipliers, and that also helps with the grenades and stuff, by the way. And you get a pistol very soon into the game, or a musket, that also has elemental attacks, so that helps with that too. And then they get armor and resistances along with it. And that is the end. You do not get to name your character, you don't get to customize or change anything else. That's pretty much all you get to do. And again, I feel like in this specific game and in this situation, that's all you get to do for good reason. Because it's a focused experience, you are following this character's journey, and I think it's pretty sick. I like it. It's not often that I see so few options and say, wow, what a great character creator. But this is one of those rare occasions. So, you guys can let me know what you think. If you've been playing the game yourselves, please tell me how you've been faring. I have been enjoying myself. The first boss only took 2 tries. After that, I sort of cheesed the bosses a little bit with the pistol attacks to freeze them, and then I got the critical, or at least the stronger hits against them. It's been really fun. It's nice to figure out how best to cheese the enemies and the bosses. That's just, what can I say? It's my style. I've been enjoying the game, and I think the character creator is amazing. Let me know what you guys think. Leave those comments, give the video a like, share it, and do all that other good stuff. Check back here soon for more. And once again, if you're playing Steelrising, enjoy. Happy that.